the Unpacked podcast, where we are unpacking the realities in today's public schools. I am Micki O'Neil. I am the host today, and I am the Chief Communications Officer at Ingham ISD, and I am joined by Monique and Jamie today. Could you ladies introduce yourself, please?
Sure. I'm Monique Colizzi, one of the Career Readiness and Work-Based Learning Coordinators at Wilson Talent Center.
And I'm Jamie George, the other Career Readiness and Work-Based Learning Coordinator at Wilson Talent Center.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We are going to talk a little bit about the work-based learning umbrella and what it means to employers. So when we talk about work-based learning, there's a lot of different experiences our juniors and seniors that are in high school at the Wilson Talent Center learn to help them prepare to be an employee. So let's start first by talking about what are businesses kind of looking for in a student? What are they looking for to help them pick the right employee, even though they're a student of ours?
I think a lot of our employers that we're meeting with these days, they talk a lot about soft skills. And so in our programs, we teach employability skills. So dependability, coachability, teamwork, collaboration, problem solving. So a lot of our employers are telling us that the students come to them with those skills. They can teach kind of those particular skills that they need to know to do the job, but they're coming in with those soft skills.
Well, that's wonderful. So the best of both worlds kind of with the CTU program is that we teach them the soft skills, right? And we teach them the technical skills so they have both. So that's a benefit for our employers. That's fantastic. So talk a little bit about internships today versus maybe 20 years ago and what that kind of looks like. And what does an internship look like for our students and our employers?
So, Micki, I wouldn't say that the opportunities, the work experience has changed that much other than the names. Back in the day, it was called co-op. Still the same structure, same opportunities. But I think what's different about today's market is that there is a huge talent gap. And maybe I just didn't realize it back in the 80s, but employers in every sector, every program in our building are looking for that next talent. So they're really, like Jamie mentioned, the mock job fairs, mock interviews, they're really looking for ways to become involved so they can get to know our students, get to know our programs, our building. I think we have a great reputation. Students who are out there working are creating and paving a path for students that are going to follow and doing those things like Jamie said. They're showing up. They have a great work ethic. They're very knowledgeable. They're leaving our programs with designations, certifications, college credit. And you can't say that collectively of any other population. So I think our students have a great advantage, and we're in such a great position in the Lansing area, the Ingham County area, to showcase our students and their abilities.
That's fantastic. Before the podcast, we talked a little bit about how you guys are getting a lot more employers to reach out to you recently. Can you share a couple of examples about, employers that are looking to find students that can support their growth needs, or even just volunteers to do the mock job fairs? Are there a couple kind of examples by industry maybe that you could share?
I would say for me, our hospitality and culinary, we've had several people reach out to us this year, and we have students that are out in those areas working, which we have not had in the past. And so, again, I think those are specific skills that students are learning in class, like serve safe and things like that can transfer into the workplace without having additional training needs. And so I know a lot of our culinary and hospitality people were impressed that the students have that certification, because it's not an easy certification to get. So that's one example that I would have.
Okay, great. And we've got business partners that we've been working with for many, many years. Do you want to give any of them a shout out?
Oh my gosh. Well, we've only been in this position for a couple of months, but we've got definitely Frankino Mold and Engineering, Block Imaging. We've got Maury's of Okemos. We've got auto tech students working there.
Marendorf Meats, everything is cheesecake, Crown Plaza.
Okay.
And a lot of healthcare facilities around the area who are taking our students for job shadows.
Okay.
And there's many more, so I apologize. I didn't list them all.
No, you're good. We want, we can get more, right? If more people want to participate, they should just give us a call, right?
Absolutely.
All right. So will you share a little bit about, you said job shadows. So that lead me to, what's the difference between a job shadow and an internship? And in the student's journey at the Wilson Talent Center over 1 or 2 years, what does a job shadow look like versus the internship, and how does that exposure good for the employer as well as the student?
So job shadows, Micki, are open to juniors and seniors, which is our population. I would say we'd probably have more junior students participating in the job shadow piece, but then also encouraging seniors who are out looking for a work-based learning career training opportunity to go do a job shadow, figure out, what culture, what the environment is like, if it's a good fit for you. So I think we always encourage them to do job shadows and really figuring out what they want to do with their lives, doing it through a job shadow, that 1 hour to 2 hour time frame, spending it with an employer.
That gives them some real experience into,
Yes.
oh, this is not what I thought it was, or, oh my
Absolutely.
gosh, this is exactly what I thought it was, and I really want to do this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then the difference between the job shadow and the career training piece is, where students on the career training piece are able to be placed in a work environment, typically between 2 and 4 days a week. There is a requirement that they have to be face-to-face with an instructor at least one of those days. So we've got upwards of 20 students right now out working in a variety of occupations.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. So how are you getting to new employers? I know you mentioned that there's some interactions you have with some of the sessions you already have set up, but are there other ways that you're getting new names? Share maybe some of the examples that you shared with me before we started the podcast with our listeners so they can learn a little bit more about how they could get involved.
So I'll speak to my programs in the building anyway. If we don't, I put the leadership position on the students. If they come in to me and they say, I want to work, okay, let's come up with a list. They're not going to magically fall out of the sky. I do have a database of past employers that we've worked with, but students sometimes try to pick an employer that's within close proximity of their local district or their home. So I'm having them do some research and then taking those skills from Boss Mode Boot Camp, from mock job fair, mock interviews, going in, shaking hands, dropping off a resume, setting up meetings. I think they need to have an active role in that without us handpicking employers and sending them out. So I'm super proud of the students taking that initiative.
That's great. That teaches them a skill set too, right? To take ownership, to make sure that they're going after something that's really important to them, which they may not do if we just said, "Oh, let's connect you to this employer." So I think that's a really good connection for our students. Do businesses normally hire students after their work-based learning experiences?
So depending on what their staffing looks like at that point,
Okay.
but several of our students have gotten offers outside of, maybe they've done a job shadow, maybe they've done an unpaid experience, and now it's turned into a paid experience.
Okay.
And so I know I've had that experience with a couple of students that have gone out of mine, and I think, Monique, you have too. So it could potentially turn into a full-time job. Some of our businesses also offer apprenticeship programs after.
Talk a little bit about that. So there's some requirements for apprenticeships.
So apprenticeship programs, the students are usually 18, and it's generally will begin after they graduate from high school. And so some of the students that we have, for example, at Block Imaging, I think there are maybe 12 Wilson Talent Center students now either interning or working at Block Imaging.
Okay.
So they take them through a 2 to 4 year program where they do some schooling and some hands-on training in their different areas.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Something I wanted to add real quick, Micki, as Jamie mentioned, some of our strong employers supporting the work-based learning journey is that we haven't been to one stop in our 20-some places that we visited without somebody saying, we have 5, 10, 11. Oh, my daughter goes to Wilson Talent Center. We've hired this many people from Wilson Talent Center. Every place we go has a connection with Wilson Talent Center, which is super cool. They were a student here. They've hired our students. So
that's fantastic to hear. Yeah, that really is.
Shout out to the staff there because they're doing a great job.
Yeah. Well, that's all we have time for today. Thank you for joining us for the Unpacked podcast and unpacking the realities in today's public schools.